Welcome back to Butt Stickers.
Yeah! Today, since we don't really have a whole lot new that's happened this week, I'm going to visit the different financing options that we looked at for embarking on our adventure. There are 3 main types of financing that we looked at. To be honest, my husband, he's an economics major. He knows the numbers sides of things, and so I really let all of this be in his wheelhouse. And he's the one that chose the best financing option for us, or at least that he thought was the best for us. I guess we'll find out over the long term. But there's 3 main types that we researched, and by we I mean him. First, you have your traditional truck and RV loans. Most people are familiar with an auto loan. It's the same kind of thing. You go in there, you say, this is my income, this is how long I want to pay for. Then they pull up your credit, they look at your credit scores, they give you an interest rate, they tell you what your payment will be, and then you say yes or no. They do all the application process and all that kind of thing. Auto loans, usually they can go through pretty fast if you have all the right qualifications. Recreational vehicle loans are more complicated and more stringent, especially if they think that you are going to be living in your RV or fifth wheel. If they think that you are going to be living in your RV or your fifth wheel, loan companies freak out because it reduces the value of their collateral, which would be your RV. And they don't like that. So that route really was not the best for us. Auto loans, you're gonna have a repayment period of anywhere from 5 to 6 years. The longer the repayment period, the higher your interest rate. RV loans can be anywhere from 10 to 20 years. They tend to be more between 10 and 15. Obviously, again, the longer your repayment period, the higher your interest rate. Both of those interest rates are gonna be, well, the brief, I literally searched it for maybe 3 minutes before recording this. The lowest one I found for an auto loan was 2.49%, and the lowest one for an RV loan was 4.29%. The route that we ended up taking is going to be ultimately a lower overall percentage rate than that. Option number 2 is to do personal loans. So there's two types of personal loans. There's a secured personal loan and there's an unsecured personal loan. We were already looking at these types of loans previously to help consolidate some debt, but that was before the pandemic. And once the pandemic hit, Derek's business went crazy and we just kind of paid off everything super fast, and so now we're pretty much debt free. So in the middle of talking about our personal loans, this little nugget came in here and she was crying about something, not sure what at this point, but now she's very happy because she gets to see the camera and she's on the video, and you get to see her cute face. And you're hamming it up now, huh? All right. So you'll get to see more of her when we start traveling. Yeah! And I'm sure she'll be happy about that, and you'll be happy about that too, because she's way cuter than I am. Yeah! And here's the other one.
Hello.
There's our introductory lady.
Hello.
Right there. And now I'm going to try to kick them. I'm going to try to kick them out so I can finish the rest of this video. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, so now I have to remember where I was. We were talking about secured and unsecured loans and how we were previously looking at them to consolidate our debt. Ultimately, we did not end up using them, which turns out to be a good thing. Personal loans, they can be up to a 10-year repayment period. You can either have it secured with some kind of collateral, like your house or a car or your RV or your IRA, don't do that, or your 401k, don't do that, or some other kind of thing that has value to whatever the lender that you're working with. The other option is to have an unsecured personal loan. You're not going to be able to get as much. It's based off of your income and your credit score, and you're going to have a higher interest rate. So those are the two types of personal loans. It did not fit what we were wanting to do, so we just kind of nixed that one pretty quickly.
I love hugs.
And option number 3. Last but not least is your home equity line of credit. That is what we ended up going with, was the HELOC. That has, you can draw on that line of credit for 10 years. So it's kind of like a credit card that is attached to your house. You're essentially putting a lien on your house and turning your house into a credit card. So you have to be very, very sure of what you're doing if you're going to go that route. In this case, we chose the HELOC because it was far more flexible and it had a much lower interest rate than the traditional financing routes. And we have a ridiculous amount of equity in our home, and so we felt comfortable doing that. If for some reason we ever got in trouble and we needed to pay off the HELOC really quickly, all we would have to do is just put our house up on the market, sell the house. Once the house sells, we pay off the HELOC gets paid off with that sale, and then anything left over goes into our pockets. So we did choose to go with the home equity line of credit because it's really easy to access those funds once you've been approved for everything. All we had to do to buy the truck was literally go to the bank, pull out a cashier's check, take it down to the dealership, say, here you go, here's some cash, give me my truck now. And then I had a truck, and I don't have to worry about anybody. Now that we have the truck, we're moving on to the phase of getting the truck decked out with all the things that we need. So, like, we need to put in running boards so that the kids can actually make it in and out of the truck without having to have us lift them up into the truck. Putting in the fifth wheel hitch. The truck that we bought is not prepped for a fifth wheel hitch, nor does it actually have a hitch with it. So there's two different parts there. But that's a story for another video. But once we have all that ready, then we can go ahead and we can look at our fifth wheels and we can say, oh, hey, look, we found a fifth wheel that we want. We've checked it all out and everything. Now I go to the bank, pull out my cashier's check. Hey, here's cash for your fifth wheel. And then we're ready to go. I don't have to wait for anybody to approve anything. I don't have to wait for any additional salary requirements or income requirements or anything like that. And the bank we went with had a really nice low introductory interest rate. They don't have that anymore. So we got in like just under the wire. And so it worked out really well for us so far. And we also felt comfortable doing this because we do have enough of a little bit of a nest egg that if we needed to pay off the HELOC in a moment's notice, at this point, since it's just the truck we've bought so far, we could do that. So, if you have questions about what we've done with our financing, you're welcome to email me. I don't know that I have so many detailed answers for you. A lot of it's going to be on your own personal financial situation, and you might want to meet with a finance advisor before you go through and choose one of these processes, and make sure that you're able to afford this kind of an expedition to begin with, because this is not cheap. And that's all I have for that. All right. Until the next time I see you on Butt Stickers, have a good one.